Alright, so hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be cleaning up the 20-gallon tank again. It's been a while since I've uploaded, probably about a week or so, maybe two. I did have a big algae bloom in here, so I was trying to figure out how to solve that problem. And I also took apart some of the other tanks. I'm going to be draining one of the other ones, the 3-gallon that had the beta in it before. Once we get that one drained, I'm thinking of turning that one just into a simple rack tank for the corals. But let's get started. Here we are cleaning the tank, and before I clean this, probably about 3 water changes before this, the tank was absolutely covered in algae. I had made a mistake, and I was like, I'm going to create like a superfood to make sure that the clownfish and all the anemones in the Duncan head get this complex food and they'll grow crazily. No, it didn't work. I mixed phytoplankton, mysis shrimp, eggs, and baby brine shrimp into a container. Started dousing all of the anemone and the fish with them. And oh my gosh, was that the worst mistake ever, because I overfed everything and the tank just went insane with algae. We're currently looking at about 30.4 on the salinity. When I go add in some salt water later, I filled up more than I put in on the RO water just so I could boost up my salinity back up to about 32 parts per trillion. Okay, now you guys are probably wondering why I had that plastic bag. Inside the plastic bag were actually some peppermint shrimp. They're gonna get rid of that right there. I thought this whole entire time that they were dusters, feather dusters. They are not. They're actually a form of invasive anemones. There's actually another one that is under the rock. You can see it right there. So hopefully these guys will get rid of that, and then any of the other ones that pop up, they'll get rid of. Then they'll also get rid of any other invasive algae that'll actually be inside of this tank. So I'm gonna let these guys acclimate. I'm gonna let everything come to where it needs to be. And I'm also gonna feed some of the corals as well. Now here we go with feeding the corals some San Francisco Bay fish eggs. I'm going to give just a little bit to the fish to distract them, so that way they're not actually taking food away from the corals themselves. I'm going to douse a little bit to the Duncan head, and then make sure that I give some to the anemones as well. I'm currently going ahead and adding in about 3 or 4 pipettes worth of the salt water into my fish eggs. Stir them up really thoroughly, make sure I actually melt the cube of fish eggs, and then I'm gonna give some to the Duncan head, and then just say, here you go, fish, go crazy. And then here I'm gonna go and give some to the Duncan head, and then I'm gonna give some to all of the anemones as well. The corals that I have up in the top left there just really work off of the light of the tank. So with that light, I don't really have to worry about feeding them too much. I'm just gonna make sure that they get phytoplankton or any other specific needs that they would have, as far as like extra magnesium or calcium, or just something to actually make them grow as well. And then here I'm gonna get the phytoplankton as well, shake it up really well, and then just get a little capful for the tank. It's 1 capful for every 25 gallons, and do it about 3 times a week. I am just gonna do 1 capful twice a week. And then I'm going to get some Aquarium pellets as well, or flakes, and just give those to the fish as well. So that way they actually do get a little diverse of a diet. And now we're just going to add some water into the bag as well that has the peppermint shrimp in there, just so that way they can acclimate to the water a little bit more as well. Okay, so now that I have fed the whole tank, I am now just going to continue to acclimate the shrimp into it. I'm just slowly adding in water, just very, very minimally. I don't want to go overboard on it, because if you go overboard, then you could risk actually hurting the shrimp in the long run. Once you hurt them, they're just gonna die away. I've gotten some cherry shrimp for this before, and they died almost immediately once I put them in here without actually acclimating them. So it's best to just slowly acclimate any sort of fish or any sort of thing that you actually get, so that way you know that when you actually put it into your tank, you'll be fine. Here's just a quick checkup too on all of the other tanks. This one is the beta fish tank. The valves are growing in pretty nicely. I can't remember what these are called actually. The ferns are growing in pretty nice. The Amazon sword is actually growing really crazily in the back. And these ones are starting to grow too. I haven't added any other chemicals in here, and honestly I haven't really changed the water either. I've just been kind of topping it off here and there, because it's kind of hard to change the water in this tank. I've got to figure out a way to actually change it, so that way I know that the beta is actually okay. But in the meantime, I'm just going to continue to do that. And then with this tank, again, I just take and add water into it, drain it maybe once every 2 weeks. I just clear off this top layer of duckweed, get rid of that, and then just go from there. Buying one of the actual plants that I had put in here, I can't remember where it was, but it actually had a bunch of snails on it. So if you look in here, that's what all of these little specks are. They're just nothing but snails. That's a snail, that's a snail. On that back log, you can't really see them. Those are all snails. They're all snails all over these rocks. So I'm unfortunately gonna have a snail outbreak in this tank, and I have no idea how to get rid of them. If you guys know any idea on how to get rid of these, please leave a comment down below, because that is just gonna be way too much snail for that tank. And then back over here, we've got the other tank as well. This one has the dwarf lobsters, and you can see those ones. These two are fighting, it looks like, for territory. And then the shrimp are in here as well. I'm also thinking of putting this tank down and maybe turning this one into the reef tank, and then just kind of spreading the shrimp and the dwarf Mexican lobsters into these ones, and just kind of seeing how we feel about that. Okay, so we got the shrimp all added in. Ooh, there's one right there. And then another one went behind the rock back here. I can actually take this off the tripod. I can take you around to go see that one. And there's the other one. So both of these guys are peppermint shrimp. They will actually take and get rid of these invasive anemones, and actually hopefully we will not have an outbreak anymore. The other one was somewhere around over here. There was another anemone back here that needed to be gone. No matter what I do with this guy though, this pink Haitian just loves being in the worst spots possible. And I also have no idea what that is there. It looks like some sort of like sponge. I'm not entirely sure. Where is it at? Right there. If I knew what that was, I'd be happy to. There was a starfish somewhere around in here too. I don't know where that one went. It wasn't a bristle. I can't remember what it was, but it was just a normal generic starfish that I had found in here. But if you guys like the content today, please give it a like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys all soon.